So welcome back. This is the review videos for Shaughnessy's class. This is Rational Expressions Lesson 13. Standard disclaimer, please make sure you're attending class. There is more information in class than is presented in these videos, so don't take them as the limits to what you need. They're just designed to be a rough estimate. So long story short, continuing on, we're talking rational expressions. For the last couple of days we've been trying to solve rational expression problems in order to figure out some particular context or some particular thing. For the last couple of days you started off first with a series of questions and having to build the table. Then last class you went and you got the table along with a series of steps talking you through it, working with the problems. Today all I want to do is I want to present to you the sorts of questions that you see in the resource, in the textbook. These are ones where it doesn't really give you any sort of steps along the way. You have to figure them out. Now, you're not likely to see many of these on a diploma exam or on an assessment because there's a lot going on when it comes to a multiple choice numerical response. And 1 mark, you get it right or wrong, isn't really fair. Written response, on the other hand, I want to see how much you can internalize and how much you can apply on your own. So you will see these in class on assessments, so going through with that sort of idea. Remember, we were using a table in each case. The table helped us organize. Now, if you can do it without the table, feel free to do it without the table. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, I would recommend trying the table and going from there. So this one. There's no table, there's no anything. It just says Jerry drove 680 kilometers. In the same time, Mike drove 720. If Mike drove 6 faster than Jerry, how long did the trip take? Okay, so it doesn't give me any tips at all, but I know that I've been doing tables. So I'm going to do Jerry, I'm going to do Mike, and I'm going to do distance, speed, and time. Okay, and I'm just going to draw out this table. This is my first starting point. I know Jerry's distance was 680, Mike's distance was 720. Mike drove 6 faster, so if Jerry's is x, then that's going to be x plus 6, and then I go from there. That's the information given in the question. I do know in the back of my mind that time is distance over speed, so I know that this time is 680 over x, and this time is 720 over x plus 6. So you go with it from there. Then you say, okay, well the times are the same. So I'm trying to look for an equation. I know it's the same time. In fact, it's the same wording as one from previous lessons. If I know that the times are the same, I know that 680 over x equals 720 over x plus 6. So I'm going to find my non-permissible values. X cannot equal 0. X cannot equal negative 6. If you're having trouble where I got those from, please come and ask. I'm going to look for my lowest common denominator. I've got an x, so I'm going to have that. I've got an x plus 6, so I'm going to have that. Now, you get to pick and choose how you want to do them. I want to do this one with the mystical magical step. So I need to make this denominator x times x plus 6. To do so, I need to multiply by x plus 6. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Yes, you can do this. There's another way too. Here I need to multiply the denominator by x. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So I'm going to end up with 680 times x plus 6 over x times x plus 6 equals 720 times x over x times x plus 6. Mystical magical, my denominators have disappeared. I'm going to put this 680 in, so I'm going to get 680x plus, and 6 times 680, whoops, 6 times 680 is 4080 equals 720x. Pick a side. I'm going to subtract the 680x, subtract the 680x. I'm going to get 4080 equals, here I'm going to get 40x. Divide by 4, or by 40, and I'm going to get x equals 102. So I've solved. X is equal to 102. Okay. Then I go back and I take a look at the question. What did it want? How long did the trip take? So how long did the trip take? That's what I want to know. Now, the times are these two times. I know they're equal, but I know that x is 102. So the time equals, and you get to pick one. I'm going to use 680 over x, which is 680 over 102, which is 680 divided by 102 is 6.6 repeating hours. Or if I had to round it, 6.7 hours. Either way, depends on what I want to do. Okay? Sorry, I apologize. Time is 680 over x. X is 102, so it's 680 over 102. Do the math, I'll get 6.6 repeating hours, which rounds to 6.7 hours. The only difference now with the questions is it's not leading you through step by step. Okay, you will still see those ones that are step to step, but we want to see if you can do it all by hand. Okay, so this one. Martin drove 150 kilometers on one road, then turned and drove 60 kilometers further at a speed 25 slower than before. The total trip took 2.5 hours. How fast did you travel at the faster speed? Or how fast did you travel at the faster speed? So what was the faster speed? Okay, so you go and say, well, okay, what I've got is I've got faster, slower, I've got distance, speed, time. So I'm taking a look at what I have. At the faster speed, he traveled at x, and then he went x minus 25 on the slower road. He drove 150 kilometers on the faster road, 60 on the slower road. So then you say, well, how fast did he travel at the faster speed? So I want to find x. To do that, I'm going to look at the equations. I know time is distance over speed. So I know it's 150, that distance, over x. And it's going to be 60 over x minus 25. Total trip was 2.5 hours. That's where I'm going to find my equation. The total trip was 2.5 hours. If I know the two times, the total is the addition. So 150 over x plus 60 over x minus 25 equals the 2.5 hours. And there we go. That's my equation. I'm going to solve that and find x, which is just in this case going to be the speed at the faster speed. So how fast did you travel at the faster speed? So, okay, so I'm going to look for here non-permissible values. I'm going to get x cannot equal 0 and x cannot equal 25. Okay, so those are my speeds. Then I'm going to find my lowest common denominator, and it's going to be x times x minus 25. You get your choice as to how you're going to solve it. I'm going to multiply them all by that, so I'm going to get x minus 25 to top and bottom here. I'm going to get x to top and bottom here. I'm going to get x times x minus 25 to top and bottom here. Okay. After all is said and done, I'm going to get 150 times x minus 25 over my common denominator plus 60x over my common denominator equals 2.5x times x minus 25 over my common denominator. Okay, mystical magical, denominators disappear. So I end up with 150x minus 25 times 150 is 3,750 plus 60x equals, here I'm going to get 2.5 x squared minus 2.5 times 25 is 62.5 x. This looks like a quadratic, so I got to solve the quadratic. You guys, we reviewed it a couple days ago. How do you solve a quadratic? I'm going to clean this up first. It's going to be 210x minus 3,750 equals 2.5x squared minus 62.5x. I'm going to subtract the 210x. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. I'm going to add the 3,750. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Okay, and so I'm going to get 0 equals 2.5x squared minus, it's going to be 271.5x plus 3,750. Try to solve this, use the quadratic formula. We have the quadratic formula, it's on the formula sheet, we reviewed it the other day. So I'm going to just solve this. X equals negative b, and I'm writing out the formula. Plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So it's going to be negative 271.5. Negative is plus, so it's 271.5 plus or minus the square root of, it's going to be negative 271.5 squared minus 4 times 2.5 a times c, which is 3750, all divided by 2 times a, which is 2.5. Working out what's in that denominator, or inside that square root, I'm just going to go here, okay, and I'm going to type it in, bracket negative 271.5, close bracket squared, minus 4 times 2.5 times 3750, oops, that's negative, sorry, negative 271.5, square that, it's going to be 36,212. So I'm going to get x equals 271.5 plus or minus the square root of 36,212.25, all divided by 2 times 2.5 is 5. So I'm going to take that square root. So I'm going to get x is equal to 271.5. Moving this up, the paper keeps going down. 271.5 plus or minus, the square root of that is 190.2951655, all divided by 5. So I'm going to get two answers. Okay, 271 plus 190.295 all over 5, and 271 minus 190.295 all divided by 5. So I'm going to do those. Okay, 271, oops, I wrote 217, 271.5 plus, so I'm having trouble typing, 271.5 plus that divided by 5 tells me that this answer here is 92.35 or 92.4. Okay, and if I do this one, 271.5 minus 271.5 minus divided by 5, his other speed is 16.24. So I've got two values of x. Sorry, I apologize, I was off screen. I did 271 plus 190, then divided by 5, and 271 minus 190, then divided by 5. So the value of x is 92.4, or 16.24. So that's the speeds here. Now, only one makes sense. If x is 92, then this speed makes sense. If x is the 16, then 16 minus 25 means he's going a negative speed here. That doesn't make any sense. So because of that, this one is rejected, because I know it has to be bigger than 25. So he traveled 92.4 kilometers per hour. Okay? Because I know that one doesn't make any sense. I solved the quadratic, I got that. These are the word problems that you may have to do. These are complicated word problems. I know that. If you have any questions, please come ask. In class, we would look at a few more options. We would discuss this in more detail, and you would get time to work on more examples. So I hope that makes sense. If not, please, 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 please come to class next time. And otherwise, have a marvelous day. Bye.